Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Since the NPP took charge of the country this January, hardly has a month passed without vigilante groups causing one problem or the other. There's been some efforts to eliminate that, but at the weekend, President Akufo-Addo called on religious bodies to help save the situation. A call from a man more powerful than the clergy or any other in the country today. He's frustrated at the phenomenon. Another question that's been thrown out there. How can it be dealt with? In the studio with me this afternoon are various actors in the political space, people whose followers are engaged in the vigilantism, but are hardly part of the solution. Sidi Abubakar is the youth organizer of the opposition NDC. Yeah, you're welcome, Sidi.
Thank you very much.
Also here in the studio with me is Yirimambo Moses Ambing. He's a Greater Accra youth organizer for the CPP. We're hoping that we'll be able to get the NPP, the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, and Nana Obriboahe on the telephone line shortly. First, by the way, let's hear from a member of the Council of Elders of the NPP, Dr. Amwako Tufo, talking about the reason why a vigilante group continue to flourish.
You'll be surprised that when you accuse a group today and you wake up tomorrow, God forbid, and there is Boko Haram, there is land guards, big gun-toting Ghanaians around, the police, if we are not careful, and they are in collusion. Just a suggestion. Because what is coming out now is more serious than people talking about the vigilante groups and all that. Vigilantes and all those people were formed for reasons. Okay? When you talk about them, you're talking about people who were rigging elections, and you needed tough-looking people to protect the ballot box.
But of course, I mean, the police were there to protect the ballot
box.
The
police, please, don't talk about the police. At that time, we all know few things that, with respect, utmost respect for the police, that those who were selected to do particular jobs didn't do them right. So there was need to have other people who would come in. The avenue was open. You and I couldn't protect the box. I used my head to protect the box in 2000 with J. Kofor coming. Okay? We knew how to go and protect the box. So we had a team nationwide. It got to a point where you don't put your academic there because he's incensed with protecting the box, so that we have a democratically elected government. Okay? Now, you have people who are stronger and cannot be easily beaten, and so it evolved into those kinds of areas. Now, to get them off track from using their energies in other areas, it's talking to them, it's finding them jobs, it's training them. If all these things are missing, they are human beings. A good person, even your police, will turn wild. Take the situation of the Galamsey. You know, certain places, it's not working. You know why? Because when the soldiers are going, I hear they are giving breakfast, no lunch, no money on them. Some of them, when they get to certain places, and you have a serious Galamsey man with fried chicken and rice, all that kind of stuff to give him. He's a human being. He's hungry. The situation may not be like that, but it's been painted to some of us.
So you are justifying the act of the vigilante?
No, not at all. I am discussing the matter with you. What I am saying is this. When you have people, young people coming, they have
All right, so you've heard Dr. Makutu for the yesterday. We played that to you. This is a very quick reminder. Let me start my conversation with the two gentlemen here in the studio. I'm going to start with you, Sidi. He's mentioned the reasons why some of these organizations, some of these groups flourish. First of all, he says, especially, and I believe, especially when you're in opposition, you sort of lose trust for the police, or you lose faith in the ability of the police to protect you. So you form up some of these groups, especially when you're going into an election. You want your ballot boxes protected, etc. And then failed promises. You promise these people jobs and you don't get it to them. How does the NDC, organize those groups? Because in your party as well, you have some of those groups. How do you organize them and how do you keep them in check?
Well, if you observe very well, prior to 2012 elections, if I may say, even down to 2008, I think that was the time that NDC issues of vigilantism and other things came up. But when it came up, what happened was that it only happened at the internal level. Those issues were not vented on Ghanaians, their annoyance, their anger, and what have you, because at that time, if you remember, we were going to Legon for flag bearership race, and some of them felt that we are supporting Atamils against other candidates. So that was the beginning of Azaka Boys. Okay. But after we won power, we've realized that there is a need for us to be able to control them. Okay. So 2009, about the issues of seizure of toilets and some other, minor things.
How did you control them?
So immediately it came up. Then the party leadership, you realized that they are becoming nuisance to Ghanaians. So we set up a system to make sure that we try to control the activities. So it was a process. Gradually, if you observe the Azoka Boys and all that we are mentioning, everything died down prior to 2016 elections.
How did you do it?
We did it because we felt that now politics is changing.
Okay, no, not the why, but how. How were you able to come? Because what's happening in the NPP, for example, and that's what, since January, we've had this issue. What's happening is that I think they talk to them, but they don't listen to them. So how did you talk to your voice?
The difference between NDC and the MPP, one was that, look, with the MPP, they promised them, they called them, they formed them. Because if you look at it, they had them almost in all the 10 regions. You have the invisible forces, the Delta forces, the crocodile, the Bolga bulldogs. Mention that each region has a name. Volta, we call them the Volta crocodiles. That's how they call them. So they have them all over the regions, in all the 10 regions. So it is a creation sanctioned by the leader of the party at that time. That's the candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo. So if you observe in one of his interviews, there is a place where he says they have lost interest in the police. And so therefore, there is a need for them to set up some system to protect themselves. I am privy to most of the security discussions that we had prior to 2016 election. Okay. We held one with the Council for Small Arms, where we discussed issues. Yeah, the committee. We discussed issues, how to manage it. People talk about the fact that they don't trust the police who are coming to protect them. Then at that time, the IGP, I was present, I think General Secretary, and some other top MPP members were there, were asked, okay, just look within the police force and identify any police of your choice, where you like it, whether the person lives in Boku or he lives in Bunkurugu. Once you are comfortable to work with the person, select them and we would allocate them.
What did they say?
The MPP in that meeting accepted only for them to move out and still carry on with their activities. And you saw it. I am telling you that they formed those groups purposely to cause mayhem in this country.
Why do you say so?
The reason I said, you see, they recruited other people to come and train them. You remember the Sabians and the South Africans who were deported.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought them in.
But that was disallowed by your government at the time. You sent the people away.
The time we managed to get it, by that time, they were trained them in regions. So we didn't even know how many regions they were able to train. And the issue is that if the election had gone to the NDC, I am telling you that this country would be in mayhem. Because that was their decision, because that was their plan B. And
but this is you saying.
I take responsibility of everything that I'm saying, because we are also monitoring them.
Okay.
We are monitoring them. So they train them, and they know the agreement that they have with them. That is why if you observe their leaders, none of them could come out and deny them. You talk about Nana Akufo-Addo himself, He couldn't say anything.
But he has come out to say that
if you are saying it as a leader of your party, as president, as commander-in-chief of Ghana Armed Forces, then your deputy general secretary, a person like Nana Obrubwai, will come out and say they will not dismantle vigilantism today and they will not do dismantle it tomorrow. John Boydu is on record of saying it. Sami Awuku, my friend, he also said it on record. I know you have some of them if you go through your archives. So I am telling you that they formed them purposely because of certain agenda, and that agenda now, it has now become too much for them, and now he's calling for prayers. He is the one who created them, and they will consume him. We are in this country. I am telling you that if the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces today says he wants to end it today, within a minute, he knows them. They set them up. They know where they are. They just call them and tell them, please, the arms we give it to you, please release them back.
Do you have evidence to the fact that they're giving them arms?
Oh, in fact, more than that. More than that. They know.
The NPP has given them arms.
If you deny them, I don't think some of them who will come out boldly, like Samia Oku or John Boydu, to say, please, disband it. We don't want to deal with you. I'm telling you, that person that night, he will not sleep in his room.
Okay, so I have a, let me just, I'll come to you, Mr. Mambo. The Deputy General Secretary, by the way, of the governing NPP, Nana Obrubwai, has joined us on the telephone lines now. Sir, I believe that you've been listening to Sidi Abubakar. You have any reaction to what he said so far?
Well, if you can, I will echo exactly what he said.
So he's essentially saying that the NPP, we're talking about political vigilantism. He's saying that the NPP, for the groups that you have Invincible Forces, Delta Forces, etc. He even says that in the Volta region, Bolga Bulldogs, in the Volta region, he says you have the crocodiles there, etc. He's saying that you purposefully form these groups to cause mayhem, that you purposefully form them to, first of all, they gave you the chance at a meeting during before the 2016 elections, gave you the chance to look into the police service and choose for yourself who would suit, you know, your confidence level needs, but you did not. And then you went ahead to form these people. You brought in people to train them. He's alleging that you've even given them arms.
You see, with due respect to you, for how long has he been in politics in this country? For how long?
If we would not personalize let's deal with the issue. Hold on, Sidi. Let me do my job here. Sir, if we could move away from personalization and deal with the issues.
I'm not personalizing issue. I'm just asking.
Can you give us? Hold on.
Around 1992.
Please. He's alleging, he's made some serious allegations here, and I want you to address those allegations.
No, I mean, those allegations are, with due respect, baseless and unsubstantiated, and they were made out of ignorance. Baseless, unsubstantiated, and they were made out of ignorance.
Why do you say so?
But tell me, do you think the MPP as a political party within our constitution with a group known as Bolga Bulldogs, Delta Force, and what have you?
Invisible Forces.
Not in the constitution.
If indeed, in actual fact, NDC also recognized the existence of the Azoka boys. I am not talking of politics of equalization. I'm saying that when you have serious issues confronting the nation, we need to look at the issue holistically and find a way out, rather than people playing to the gallery.
Did you equip these?
How did he define vigilantism?
Did you at any point equip these groups with arms?
For me, that is, with due respect, that is absolute nonsense from him. How do you buy arms and give arms to your supporters to go and fight? That is absolute nonsense, with due respect and without humility.
So the NPP,
when we are going for the
NPP,
hold on. When we are going for by-elections in Talensi, and Kofi Toffee and the others were arrested, having kept guns, sophisticated guns, in his vehicle, I don't think that a discerning mind would draw the conclusion that because it was Potofi, and therefore it was NDC as a policy, NDC as a party, that has agreed that they were going to arm the Potofi. People are serious in this country. We need to talk like mature adults and stop playing to the gallery.
Okay, let me
How
find
will a
out.
party like New Patriotic Party buy arms, supply arms to our supporters?
So
and
you're
tell them that they should go all
you're
out
denying
and fight
that.
with those arms.
You're obviously denying that. But then let me find out from you, how do you control these gentlemen who helped you? We've heard from your one of your council of elders, a member of the council of elders says that these people at the time were necessary. They helped you, they helped protect your ballot boxes. But at the moment, what they're doing is totally lawless. How are you controlling them?
Don't we have police in the system? Are the police not being paid with taxpayers' money? Don't we have the existence of police? Don't we have the existence of soldiers? Lawlessness has no political coloration. Lawlessness has no political coloration. And therefore, the police institution is there. They should deal with those who are indulging lawlessness, pure and simple. The police should deal with those who are indulging in lawlessness, whether it's Azoka Boys, whether it is Bulgar Bulldogs, whether it's Invincible Force, whether it's Delta Force. That is neither here nor there.
How does it appear to you when, for example, we hear the president at one point say that the police, say exactly what you have just said, the police should deal with people who commit criminal acts, and then the next day we hear another group of so-called NPP youth groups, you know, doing the same thing that the president has reprimanded them for. How does it appear to you? Is it disrespect for the president?
Hold the police responsible.
No, but when the president has spoken about that, do you see that as a disrespect to the president?
Not it. I am saying that the police should be up and doing. When they wake up in the morning, nobody directs them to go and mount roadblocks, checkpoints on the major roads. But they have been doing that. So they should be up and doing. They should act like professionals. They should be up and doing, and they should act like professionals. If police are failing their responsibilities, with due respect, I don't see how you should hold the MPP responsible.
Okay, hold on for me, sir. Let me just bring you in. You remember, you've not spoken at all. He's the general, the Greater Accra Youth Organizer for the CPP. How does all of this come out to you?
In fact, my dear sister, the NDC and the MPP are really playing with us in this country. Look, this mistrust we are talking about regarding the security institutions, who created the mistrust? It was these same politicians who created this mistrust. Look, from the entry stage of these security institutions, before you can get in, they have already politicized it. You can't get into the police force or the military without being an MPP or the NDC. This is totally unacceptable. And now, the entry point, over 95% of them that enter are already aligned to such parties because they will send a list. And to the Minister of Defense and to the Interior Minister, they have a list. Over 95% of people picked into these forces are already allied to the NDC and MPP. And then we will turn around to talk about mistrust. Who created this mistrust? In fact, a big shame to them. From 92 to now, the NDC, the MPP, they have been the helm of affairs, and this is what they've done. You see, so for us in the CPP, when we sit back and we hear them, the Deputy General Secretary saying that, where is the police, where is the military? They have rather politicized it, and now they're asking for them to come in to play, a mediating role. They can't do that because they're already aligned. The top hierarchy of the police and the top hierarchy of the military are already aligned. So how do you expect them to, come in to arrest the same boys you are protecting? They can't do that. Okay. So please, moving forward, I believe the NDC MPP, they should keep quiet on this matter. Okay. Because they have no moral right whatsoever to speak on this issue.
I see. Seriously. I'm just going to, CD, I'm going to bring you in so that we look at how we can solve this problem. I think that we don't have so much time.
Yeah,
so
before that,
let's look at the solution of the problem.
Yeah, just let me make a little contribution on the talency issues and the police.
Okay, let's make it brief.
Yeah, brief. Yeah, if you observe what he was saying about the talency elections, completely.
He said arms were found in Koku. Is it Kokwadido you mentioned?
Let me tell you, I am born and bred in Boku. That night, the organization that they have done to move people from Boku with arms into Talensi, you have no idea. I have to move in because they succeeded in bringing them in with weapons. I have to move in as somebody who's from there to talk to the MPP.
The NPP brought people
and tell them that,
Talensi.
please, you are fasting because it was during fasting. I said, you are fasting. Don't joke and take a life here. And we are already aware that you are coming and this is what is happening. Because I'm one of you, I told them that I will be able to handle you. So please, let peace prevail. I had interactions with them, and the whole place was peaceful. So what Obribo Aini is saying is something. They compromise the entire, even the police. Look, let me tell you, as soon as the IGP was appointed. I mean, they came in, they appointed IGP. The IGP came and changed the entire regional heads. Now the regional heads that they put are people who are loyal to their political party. So how do you expect people who are loyal to a political party to go and fight vigilantism that your own party members are doing? Definitely they will not do it. We had cases in even Agbogboloshi. A gentleman called, what is his name? Bullet. Look, even today when you arrest him and take him to, let's say, Agbogboloshi police station, in less than 30 minutes, the guy will be out. And look at them. And the guy was holding AK-47 clearly, and everybody is aware of them. Several times I tried to engage, even at the leadership level, with my brother Sami Awuku. Let's see how best we could end all this thing.
So you've been trying to engage to see how we can solve it.
But some of them, they think that now we are suffering it. But we try as much as possible. If you observe, 2016, we did not use vigilante groups. We tried to now change the grouping into social grouping. That's why we have ladies for Muhammad, girls for Muhammad. We just try as much as possible to absorb it, because sometimes when you don't create something for them, they will now find a way.
Okay, so quick one. How do we solve this problem?
We can solve it if we depoliticize the appointment of the IGP. We make it such that, though, just like the way the Chief Justice is appointed, if they appoint you, you have to serve a certain period of time, despite the fact that
security of tenure.
Yeah, security of tenure. They should just have somebody who, for instance, when they appoint him, he should be there, and they won't change him maybe when there is any change of political power, and that they should try as much as possible and leave the police institution alone. Okay. Nobody should interfere, because the more you do it in trying to entrench your powers, that is where the people will now do it. And the second thing I would also like to say is that we must, as political parties, engage all the stakeholders. All the stakeholders. When I talk about the stakeholders, I'm talking about the leaders of the party. Okay. The flag bearer, if he's the leader, the chairman, the general secretary, youth organizer, women's organizer, all the people who matter. Okay. Let's sit down and have a serious dialogue with all the security and the military. Once we're able to have it and we reach a conclusion, I am telling you that one will hold. But if not, what is happening currently in Ghana, I am telling you, despite that we are talking to our boys not to go on that tangent. I am telling you, if this thing is not checked now, I am telling you, 2020 election is going to be hot, because our boys are organizing by themselves. And when they organize by themselves without supervision, it's dangerous. Because at that time, nobody can say anything to them. So sometimes I wonder why this religious body that we have, those who are supposed to speak are mute.
Okay. I'll come back to you briefly, but let me take the solution.
Because what is happening now is serious.
Let me take Nana Obi-Wahin's thoughts on how we can solve this problem. Nana, how are you dealing with this problem? I mean, the president is speaking to churches, saying that the Christian council should come in and help and all of that. He's mentioning here that we should, give the security authority or people who head these security agencies security of tenure. Certainly something that we're looking at as a country. But he's also saying that it is about checking the people who are, in these groups. What do you think, from your perspective, the solution will be? And perhaps since you are in charge now, what is happening? What are you doing about it?
Speaking as a lawyer and as a politician, professional ineptitude on the part of the policeman. That is pure and simple. The man in the studio said, you go to Agbogboloshi, somebody was holding AK-47, he was arrested, detained for some few minutes, and then he was admitted to bail. That is professional ineptitude of policemen. So look, if the police cannot contain the situation, if they cannot approve the situation, if they cannot confront the situation, I call it professional ineptitude.
So what in your opinion should the solution be? And what, since you are in charge at the moment, what are you doing?
The answer is very simple. Policemen should be up and doing.
But he said that the police already has been compromised by you, because you've changed.
Oh, that MPP came to power on January 7, 2017. So is he suggesting that before the advent of MPP, before the advent of Nanado, NDC had also compromised the police institution? Is that what he's suggesting?
Let's stay a bit more on the solution.
I am not talking about the solution. I am saying that, look, tell the policemen to behave like professional policemen. Tell the policemen to
what is happening at the moment?
Professional ineptitude. Tell the policemen to act professionally.
That is a point you've made already. But what is happening at the moment? I mean, you obviously you can agree with me that what some of the groupings in your political party are doing are totally lawless. In your at the party level, what are you doing to help solve the problem that the president is obviously worried about?
The president has sent a message that the police should be up and doing. Some of us have already sent the signal that the police should be up and doing. If it happens in MPP headquarters, it is lawlessness. If it happens in Kofodia, where Kwasi is going to interact with NDC supporters, it's lawlessness.
Apart from the police being up and doing,
please.
Apart from the police being up and doing, what is it that you're doing?
NDC headquarters and PNC headquarters, where they want to get rid of ATIC, that is lawlessness. If it happens in CPP, it is lawlessness. Lawlessness. So please, tell our policemen to act well.
You have said that point. Hold on, Mr. Brieboy, you have made that point over and over again. What we're asking at the moment is, what are you doing at the party level to deal with this, Mr. Brieboy?
So issues like this, you want me to come on air and tell the whole world that we are doing ABC, and
that will give the people of Ghana the assuredness that you are being responsible with your men.
Ghana are paying policemen and soldiers at the end of every month, so they should tell them to act professionally.
There are viewers who are NPP people as well who will want to know what's happening in your party. Do you want to speak to them?
We've been talking my party, we've been controlling our party, we've been running our party, we've been organizing our party. We don't need tutorials from NDC, CPP, PNDC to tell us what we should do to our supporters. We don't need tutorials from them. We don't need tutorials from them to tell us that you should tell your boys to do A, B, C, and T.
So what are you telling them? How are you controlling them?
What I'm telling them is that MPP is in power, pure and simple.
So
you're in power.
So you're in power. Does that mean that you are giving them more strength to continue?
No, I'm not giving them more ammunition. I am saying that we are in power.
So because we're building on a point.
Let the whole world know that we are in power.
So you are in power. So what?
And so they should behave and act for the whole world to know that we are in power. We are in power because of the civility.
So you are endorsing. So you are endorsing their acts of lawlessness.
Oh, as for that one, my lady, my good lady, please don't go there. I've been hammering home the point that when it's an issue of lawlessness, tell the police to be up and doing. You have just been told that somebody or sold the AK-47, arrested Alagbabuloshi. Within some few minutes, he was admitted to be. That is professional ineptitude on the part of the police.
Okay, that is a point you've made already. Let me bring you in, CPP.
Yeah, in fact, I listened to the Deputy General Secretary, and in fact, I don't understand what he's saying. Fine, you are in power. We know you are in power. So if you are in power and people are misbehaving, what do? You crack the whip. You are in power and you are not cracking the whip, and we expect us to clap for you? We can't do that. And of course, the president is the commander. He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He has all the security apparatus under him, so he can crack the whip. So if you come here and tell us that you are in power, so do the right thing. Crack the whip, and let's see that, look, your people are comporting themselves. Because what will give a group, the infantry, the audacity to enter a courtroom and stop proceedings and, try to free one of their boys? This is totally unacceptable anywhere. So please, the General Secretary, the Deputy General Secretary should come again. What kind of orientation is this? Please. The good people of this country are listening. And I don't think your platform is a renowned platform. I don't think such comments coming from him is the right signal.
Okay,
so moving forward, we talked about solution. We are looking at reorientation, education. Education will play a role. Because look, as it stands now, you go around and ask the NDC or the NPP vigilante groups, why are you in the party? They don't even know the reasons why they're in NDC or NPP. There is no education. They don't know anything about their parties. They are just there to make noise. Surprisingly, that is the fact. When you ask them, they have no answers to that because they are just there because they just want to join. Because of the promises. Look, when you are part of this group, when I come to power, I'm going to give you A, B, or C. So they join and do all kind of things. But what we are saying, look, we have to reorient them. And I believe in the sayings of Plato that an educated person is a person who is being liberated from the case of ignorance, sees the light, and applies what he has learned to support or rule the police. They should rechannel their energies. Look, we had Young Pioneer in the 1960s. 1961 Young Pioneer Movement, the CPP, where they were very disciplined. They had a code of conduct, and they were engaging in environmental cleanliness and other things which were positive. So moving forward, we are praying and hoping that the NDC and NPP will take a cue from that and make their vigilante groups rechannel their energies into positive endeavors. And lastly, my brother spoke about constitutional reforms. Of course, we all agree that the president shouldn't be appointing the security capos, that we should have a system in place in where we have broader consultation so that we can appoint them, so that they will not be one-sided. Okay. So please, the NPP and the NDC should come again. Especially, I'm not very happy with the comments he made that they are in power. You are in power, do the right thing. We are watching.
Okay. We've run out of time.
Ghanaians massively voted the NDC out. They are in power, so they should do the right thing. They shouldn't come and tell us we are in power, we are in power. We want action.
I'm going to give you each, say, 30 seconds to wrap up on this conversation. Yeah. Your final word, CD, so that I'll bring
I am highly disappointed this evening by the comment from the Deputy General Secretary of MPP. Completely, I was amazed for somebody who's asking me when did I enter politics to be saying what he was saying on air. Completely, it shows clearly that the MPP are not ready to cooperate with Ghanaians and the police to be able to have a lasting solution to this. What he says was completely, to me, it's better you even stop talking about this issue, because whatever that he's saying, he's communicating what the leader of their party is telling them, because that is exactly what they're doing.
Is that your final word?
No, and again, I am telling you, until we all come together and talk about this vigilantism, we are sitting on a time bomb.
Okay.
As a country, I am telling you, and take it from me. Because if they joke with this thing, and the background of NDC, we are from the revolution, and when we are going to take it to them, I don't think they can sit in this country.
Well, hopefully we won't get to that. Nana Obribwai, let me take your final words.
The man can continue to bask in his self-conceitedness, claiming that NDC, we know them, we know their background, and so what? And so what? And we were able to, some of us succeeded and were standing NDC of 92, NDC of 96, NDC of 2000. Look at the NDC of today. And yet we were able to pluck up courage to confront them. So talking about fighting. But I'm saying that, look, you have been overflogging this issue. You are just running away from the reality of the situation on the ground. I am saying that, look, it is our police who are not helping matters. I overheard somebody talking about constitutional reforms and the IGP. The bottom line is that still the Constitution says that it is the president who should be in consultation. The fact that the IGP will have an amount of permanency and with his appointment or his term of office doesn't mean that if it is an IGP who is not up and doing, you are going to have a different story. So tell the policemen, tell them to go. The Agbogbosi incident you referred to.
I'm taking your final words now. We've run out of time. So that was the final, that's supposed to be the final word.
The Agbogbosi incident you referred to, 2009. Not quite long ago, I had to write to the police at the ministry's police station to revisit the 2009 Agbogbosi incident. To revisit the 2009 Agbogbosi incident. But the police have been proactive.
Okay.
So please, for goodness sake, we don't need tutorials. All of us are not comfortable with
but you did acknowledge the point he made. The point he made that there are boys, that the boys within the NDC are also organizing themselves. That's certainly something that we don't want as a country.
People who are boys. Oh please, for goodness sake, you should stop making this.
Okay, Nana, we say a very big thanks to you for your time.
For this mission.
Thank you very much for your time. I know Obribwai there. Let me give you the final word.
In fact, we'll have a long way to go. If people like the Deputy General Secretary are in the system, the kind of reputation they have, I believe we have a long way to go, because he doesn't see anything wrong. In fact, whatever he said, it seems that, look, he doesn't care. No, they should be in existence. They should cause mayhem. He doesn't even care. But you see, what we are saying is that, look, for us to control this, the mistrust in the system has to be corrected. How do we correct it? Look, we have to go back to the basics and ensure that, look, when people are entering into the military, into the police services, the politicians don't send lists to the ministry and ensure that their people are picked. Look, every time when the list go in there, only about 5% of genuine people are in there. So how do we guarantee such a system? It means that, in short, we have no system. You see? And the NDC and the APP are taking this country for granted. And I'm telling them, the love Ghanaians had for them is running out. And as you said, we all sit on a time bomb, and that time bomb is going to be the rejection of the NDC and the NPP.
No.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. Everybody wants to chip in something that inures to their interest, isn't it? Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. I've been in the studio here with Sidi Abubakar Musa. He's the youth organizer, national youth organizer of the opposition NDC. Also here in the studio has been Yirimambo Moses Ambing. He's the Greater Accra youth organizer for the CPP. And on the telephone line was Nana Obriboahen, Deputy General Secretary for the NPP. Talking politics. Hopefully we'll find a way out of this mess, and it won't be a time bomb that explodes and that kills all of us.